Well, hello everyone. You here to show you that the reason important coloring right here. As you see right here, is I went ahead and it's like drew it's like activities like with most of us here have seen your reason already, for reasons, but anyway, for reason important it is basically talking about the things that you can do. It's like say on either on your own or the things that you can learn what to do, and that basically is what I got shown right here. Of course, it's like I say a journal that I went ahead and found this. You say in my old schoolwork right here is you got right here is that see you got the you see the number of pages right here. But anyway, that the things that I wanted to buy whenever say if I were to get it's like the things say the consumer the 10 things that about the job that I want, and then of course that I went ahead and of course cut and kind of cut it. Say that these were like what you call photos that were taken as say cut out as a magazine, and of course that they were glued onto a page. It was, but anyway, but you got right here is something that looks like say a fax machine right here, and of course what you get is a connector jacks, and along with say it's got is the microphone of course, and then TV antenna, and then of course you got right here is the connector cables, and a surround sound, which that surround sound theater surround sound system looks just like the one I bought. And then of course you got right here is the radio, and then of course you got right here is the journal, and it cost it's like Friday December the 7th it is, and of course it's like for the next page, and then the things that you would like to buy it is you got right here is a computer, and then of course a camera, a car, and then of course you got the plane, and of course you have say a car, and then a sofa. It looks like they say a couch. Of course this would be this journal would be about over 10 years old. It is, so knowing about the fact about this type of stuff that of course that I wanted of course at the time, and just knowing about the fact that the things that you wanted whenever you were younger, it is maybe then of course they did not have like all that 3D stuff. It's like all that HD stuff, but at the time, at least not that I know of, at least really, I really don't know really if I could really say what they did have and what they didn't have. But on the other hand, too, knowing about it, it's like for our reasons to why that we do what we do, and more likely people probably think about that that their mom and dad or their uncle or whoever may have told them maybe more than a thousand times, thousands of times it is. But on the other hand too, that knowing about the main part is that I noticed that a lot of electronics, a lot of things, important things too, that I try to work out. Of course, that I would get mad about them, and then knowing about whenever they stop working, especially maybe with, let's say, a webcam, or it could be what you call, maybe a puzzle, or anything, maybe a game or anything like that. And just knowing, maybe online application, I would probably say maybe an online application would be kind of a good example of what I'm talking about. Such as it's like that they, when if you were to complete an online application, or if you were to be shopping online, it is doing anything online, or maybe over the phone, it is, or maybe if you have like what you call buy a smartwatch, it is, have it to where if you like have get connected to the mobile, say the wireless, on a smartwatch, or maybe if it's a Google Glass, or anything related to that type of say gadget, tool stuff that for that say some people probably consider it as toys, and just knowing about the fact that whenever they stop working, it is, and just knowing about the fact that you get mad whenever stuff don't work, and then whenever you spend so much time on it, and then just knowing about the fact that besides if it stops working, that maybe if you don't have the right training or whatever, maybe you just get tired of dealing with the same commotion, and just the same topic. It is as knowing about that that requires more attention, more money. It is, and but just on the other hand too, that knowing about that, I pretty much look at it as knowing about you could maybe be building your experiences, knowing about the fact that that back then, those couple of years, back then 10 years ago it was, I did not even have a fax machine. It was. And no, I did not even need one. Whenever I was in school, actually, I would think that more likely with the school that they could probably think about that. if anything, maybe you need a better alarm clock, huh, to wake you up on time. Because, none of the teachers ever told me that. But then, of course, it was like that, yeah, that whenever I was going to school, that getting to class on time was one thing that, of course, it was pretty hard for me to do. But on the other hand, too, we also think about maybe some of our mistakes. But other than that, it's talking about, it's like for reasons, reason important it is basically, is you got right here, is like, the highlight right here. And whenever things start, stop working, it is knowing about whenever you want to really set them to the side, it is, and just knowing about right here is you got the blank right here. And people probably think about, what's that, huh? But basically, it's like, yeah, you get something working, if maybe it only requires just one step. It is, I don't know if I would call it simple, but just one step of it, knowing about it. It's like, take a photo of yourself, and then of course it's like have it visible to anybody that wants to look at it. And of course, when it checks out your file, it is, checks out any type of student, you say online file, about that some about somebody like me, or some that special someone it is. But on the other hand too, knowing about that if you were to get a webcam or any type of gadget, maybe maybe a little digital guitar or anything like that, you could probably think about that, hey, that I don't know, it works totally different from the original, of course, so I don't have time to mess with it right now. Well, actually, I'll go ahead and let my cousin play with it or whatever. But other than that, it's talking about with stuff that that we buy, that whenever it stops working, it is, I know with me that I've gotten mad a couple times and about things that that stop working. But you go here, right here is like if you were to doing it, stuff like online, say ask for your name and stuff, and so of course the address, but then of course the making and the model. The making and the model, and a lot of times if you were to buy a webcam or any type of gadget that maybe the serial. See the serial number, it is. It's like knowing about, I guess, that type of information is what it would be asked for. If you were to be downloading any type of software, it is. But more likely that yeah, if you were to be getting any type of software products online, it is just knowing about the fact that you plug it in. It's like plug it in. But if you were to plug it in and just knowing about the fact about this exercise, it is a lot more harder than what you think it is. It's like from the reason why maybe I quit, or the reason why I decided not to do it, was the fact because hey, I am not an expert, and some people may say, who the heck is? Some people may say who the hell is, but on your hand too, knowing about who the heck is, and just knowing about the fact about hey, about what size quality more likely would be think is to be able to fit this type of picture frame, is knowing about the fact about you buy a frame, it is, and just knowing about what size do you think will be able to fit in there. Like I am not an expert. Well, I'm not talking to an expert. I'm talking to somebody that more likely, that I can actually talk to about that. And just knowing about, people probably think about that, yeah, that, I am not really looking for an expert. I am looking for somebody maybe for that, be able to give me some type of feedback, it is. And just knowing about the fact about, yeah, if you think that maybe somebody's looking for an expert, then more likely they will probably say that, maybe look for somebody that more likely that may be working in that certain department, it is, and then knowing about maybe that willing to show them some type of identification, it is, and knowing about who they work for, is like knowing about that, yeah, really I am an expert. But on the other hand too, that knowing about that, until, and then they may say that, well, in order to be able to check it out, we're going to have to charge you. But other than that for reason important it is knowing about the fact about that, yeah, anything that you think about that you want to get whenever you're in school, it is just knowing about if it's a journal, or if anything related to, if you want to buy a car, it is, and just knowing about hey, that really is it the the fact about you buy something and then you kind of want to act like what you call it. It's like maybe show off, I guess maybe a word to describe it. It's like if you're going to be taking pictures of yourself, funny faces of what you look like. It is. Go ahead and draw. It's like maybe I maybe look like a clown in this photo. It is. Like I'm wearing one of the you say the dorkiest shirts. You say in my class. In my student say reunion photo or anything like that. But a lot of people probably think about, hey, they know is, if that's you from that certain moment. It is. And some people probably think about that, really, that whenever something stops working at the time, you begin to wonder, what would it take, what kind of tool will it take, just to get it working again. And people say, it's like, good question. To know the fact about, it needs that person. It needs somebody that is willing to spend the time to be able to get something working, such as what you call is like, for that perfect moment of knowing about, when, who's, and where. But it's like talking about, it's like for who, when, and where. It's like for so many questions, knowing about the fact about by the time you get it going is knowing about like did I do that? Like did I do that, or did you do that? But other than that, it's talking about it's like for the reasons for what we do is talk about with me. It's like you got right there is my name, and then of course you have right here is knowing about. It's like if most of us here have probably seen my videos, is knowing about. That the fact that if it's done on a tape recorder, or if it's done on what you call like electronic tablet or a fax machine or whatever it is, note written on a leaf, anything like that, is to know is like so far as besides other than to write it down on your shirt is to remember about the fact about who did that. But other than that, is talk about it's like for a reason importance is to know that really if it is it about the fact about how much money you're making. It's like knowing about that. It's like talking about. It's like the activity about making money, or is it the fact that hey, that this is all about the fact about maybe learning your lessons, but on your hand too, that knowing about that hey, the reason, the reason to why I did it is to show you for what I can do. But other than that, it's talking about it's like for what I can do. I can teach you the basic lessons about knowing about whenever you buy something like a webcam or anything fun is to know is that it needs that somebody that's willing to spend the time and effort just to learn how to work it, how to use it. And of course it's like knowing about the next source of technology goes by the fact about is for the study. But so far as for reason, importance, coloring.